we all know that launch games are some of the most important games on the system. So I took the list of over 20 launch titles, and I'm gonna rank them from worst to best. Starting with Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. If I can barely pronounce it, I probably don't care about it that much. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue what this is. And after watching trailers, I still don't fully understand the concept. Maybe I'm just a silly guy, who knows? But this is one game that I just don't have any interest in at all. It looks like some kind of historical strategy sim, probably with tons of menus and maps. It's based in Japan, and you do big brain warlord things. I mean, if you're into it, you're into it. It does look like it'll use some sort of mouse function on the Switch too, so that's good. Maybe that's why it took so long to port onto the console. But if you like it, tell me why, because I'm clearly not the target audience for this one. Next up, Arcade Archives 2, Ridge Racer. This is a weird one. Really not sure why this needed to be on the Switch 2 on launch day. Like, this definitely could have been on the Switch 1. Actually, it should have been. Now it's probably here to boost the launch sales, and I know that there is a Ridge Racer community out there, but this one feels like it's here for no reason. I mean, Ridge Racer is a classic arcade racing game, and if you like old school drifting and retro visuals, that's great. But this could have been released literally anytime, on any system, and nobody would have questioned it. I'm pretty sure this is coming to the Switch 1 as well. Kitsugami, Path of Goddess. Again, another one I actually had no idea existed before the Switch 2 Direct. Kitsugami was released almost a year ago, and it actually looks kind of fun after further inspection. It's like a Japanese real-time strategy game with some hack and slash elements mixed in. Kind of gives me Japanese Pikmin vibes, even though Pikmin is Japanese, but you know what I mean? Just look. There's waves of enemies that appear at night, and you spend the day positioning villagers and prepping defenses. It's got a very stylish art direction too, kind of spooky, but I like it. It's visually pleasing. You better believe it'll look good on the Switch too, I hope. From what I saw, it looks good. I still don't know exactly what it is, but hey, it's coming out. And hey, maybe I'll give it a go. Next is this Survival Kids game. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll always remember this one as the game the Switch 2 live stream froze on. But my goodness, this one does not look interesting at all to me. The only reason it's ahead of the other games is because I'd probably still play it before them, just because I like the bright, flashy colors. I mean, look at me, of course I do. The art style kind of reminds me of a mix between Animal Crossing and like one of those knockoff farming simulators. The co-op looks like a big selling point with this. You and some pals surviving on a tropical island, crafting and gathering stuff, sure. The idea is not that bad. I just don't really like how it looks visually. I just don't think myself or any of my friends will pick this over Mario Goes Vroom Vroom, especially on launch day. Next up, Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, Switch 2 edition. Once again, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know that this was a thing, and I've never played a Rune Factory game before. That said, I've heard this name so many times I feel like I should have by now. This one actually already released on Switch 1, so this is an upgraded version. A Switch 2 edition, in fact. For some reason, it gives me Monster Hunter vibes, but at the same time, it's cel-shaded and more anime-ish. From what I can gather, you can build your own village, grow crops, befriend monsters, and do some light action combat. Based on the extremely slim gameplay footage we've seen so far, it definitely looks better than the Switch 1 version. I probably won't play it on day one, but it's a game. Now, this next one is interesting, and it's been getting a lot of hate. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. Everyone's angry at this, and it's all because of one simple reason. The cartridge that comes in the box isn't really a cartridge, kind of. It's a game key card. Basically just a license to download the game digitally, but you still need to keep the card in your system, so it's digitally on the system, and you gotta keep the card in to play it. It's weird. While yes, the whole game key card thing does kind of suck, it's not the end of the world, but what really stings is that this is just a 3DS port. A pretty small game, all things considered. Like, literally in size. It's probably under 10 gigs. And they still didn't want to put it on an actual cartridge. Most likely to save money. How dare they? Now, believe it or not, I didn't play this on the 3DS back in the day, mostly because, well, I didn't care. But I did watch the Treehouse live segment where they demoed the game, and it finally made a bit of sense to me. There's this one mode where you control a ship, and during those sections, you have to hit buttons and guide your ship through glowing rings. It actually seemed kind of fun, especially because it uses both Joy-Con controllers and mouse mode at once. This looks kind of trippy and complicated. Once again, I probably won't pick this up on launch day. I've got too many other bangers calling my name, but hey, I understand it now. Next up, oh yes, the White Cat. Deltarune Chapters 1 through 4. This game is massive and comes from the same creator as Undertale. It has that one guy from Smash Bros. It doesn't really feel like a Switch 2 launch game, more like a game that just happened to launch on the same day. That probably makes no sense, but you get what I mean. This feels more like a happy coincidence, but yeah, it's on Switch 2 on launch day. I've never really been a big Deltarune fan, but I'm happy that it's here. Next, we got Civilization 7 on Switch 2. This game is fairly new and just came out on the Switch 1, where it's known for not running the best. However, this one was always a no-brainer for the Switch 2, especially after the Joy-Cons were rumored to have that mouse functionality. Finally, Civ fans can play a turn-based strategy game without dragging their joystick across the screen and having much more slow-paced gaming. Now, you'll never believe this, but I haven't played this one either. I don't love these type of games, but to be fair, fair, I should probably try it again. I just probably won't on launch day. But next, just like the original Switch launch with Puyo Puyo Tetris, the Switch 2 is continuing the legacy with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, the sequel, with an S in the title for some reason. This version has already been released on other consoles, and I don't think there's anything about this that makes me care about it. But hey, I'm not a Tetris guy myself, but I get the appeal. People eat this stuff up. If it's your day one, I respect it. And the next one is actually a big one. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. This was a heavy-hitting third-party release on the Switch 2. Apparently this version comes with some new cutscenes and maybe a few extra bells and whistles. I don't know much about this series. You must be questioning if I'm a gamer at all. But I do know that there's a lot of these games, like an alarming amount. I've just never played one, that's all. I know people love it. I know it's dramatic and full of over-the-top action and possibly karaoke mini games, I hear. But yeah, moving on. Hogwarts Legacy Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's coming out, which makes sense because it was already on Switch 1. And it was a big yikes, I gotta tell you. It had heavily downgraded visuals, longer load times, and frame rates that were about as stable as my mental health. Even just from the new trailer alone, you can tell that this is going to benefit big time from the enhanced power of the system. Now, I never really actually liked this game. I'm not really a Harry Potter fan, but hey, you do you. Now next up is F-Zero 2. Just kidding, it's Fast Fusion. Fast Fusion is the closest thing we're getting to a new F-Zero game, because this is all about zero gravity, high-speed racing, and my goodness, this game looks fast and extremely good. And it's confirmed to be running at 1080p 120 frames per second or 4K 60 frames per second, which is just outstanding. I mean, look at this. We didn't see it for long, but oh my goodness. These kind of futuristic racers have always looked great graphically, but getting a game this fast-paced and also looks this good is honestly kind of mind-blowing. Oh, and fun fact, when the original Switch launched, this dev team had something similar to show up too. I never actually played a high-speed racer like this, but dang, I might actually pick this one up. Like I said, it's kind of giving me F-Zero vibes. Now this next one looks kind of silly. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition. Now as someone who hasn't touched this series at all, this game looks like a straight-up goofy assassination simulator. Like you've got this guy slipping on a banana peel, mid-mission, like he's in a cartoon or something. And I gotta say, this actually looks fun. What's even funnier is that we've already seen some low-key Nintendo-themed DLC announced for this version, including unofficial Mario and Luigi costumes, and even items, like this mushroom thingy. I have no clue what this does. I'm excited to actually try this out. It looks like a wild time. Now we've reached the point where every single game from now on, I'm going to buy on launch day. My credit card will go into the machine and I will cross my fingers and hope it says approved. Which by the way, really quickly, if you want to support me, please consider becoming a channel member. I'd be honored. I've got tons of exclusive content for members, plus your name shows up at the end of every video. I gotta fill up this end screen with as many names as possible. So let's go! Seriously though, I'd really appreciate you checking it out. All right, next up is technically a game, or at least a group of them. It's GameCube Classics via Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. And on launch day, we're getting 3 big ones, starting with Soul Calibur 2, the one with the iconic Legend of Zelda crossover. I haven't played this in the longest time. In fact, I might not have even played it at all. I don't remember. It's been that long, but I do know that Link is in it, so that's good. Then there's F-Zero GX, which I was just kind of talking about when I mentioned Fast Fusion. People have been begging for an F-Zero GX remaster for as long as I can remember, so like at least a few weeks. But seriously, it's one of the most requested GameCube games, and here's a fun fact. It was actually co-developed by Nintendo and Sega, which is kind of why they started being partners. And then, you know, Mario and Sonic happened. Anyways, I find that interesting. Then we've got Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. The main thing this confirmed for me is that Wind Waker HD just doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. But honestly, this is still a great pick. I'm just surprised they didn't slap $60 next to it. Maybe even 70. You know what, 80. Feels like a wasted business opportunity. But what I would have loved to see during the GameCube Classics is, you know, Smash Bros. Melee or Double Dash. That would have been wild. But hey, this is good too. Oh yeah, we have Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Yeah, I'm ranking this one a little higher than GameCube games. I know, I'm crazy. And simply because, well, it's new. And we don't really know the full scope of it yet. Now, weird part is that this tech demo isn't even free, which is just wild because it literally makes you read about the system you're playing it on. Like, what even is that? Oh, and then there's actual quizzes. I don't know what makes that fun. I'm excited to see where the speedrunning community goes with this one though. I'm just super curious to see how they show off the new Switch 2 features, and I think I'd be really good at that frame rate test minigame. After years of doing YouTube and watching choppy Switch 1 gameplay, my eyes have evolved into frame rate analyzers, I swear. It's a quirky little game, it's odd, but yes, I'm gonna buy it. Help. Next up, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch 2 editions. I'm bundling them up together here. The moment we heard these were rumored, we just knew that they had to happen. I'm glad they're finally here. I'm gonna admit this on YouTube. I don't know if I should be doing this, but I never beat Tears of the Kingdom. I know. But that's mainly because I had played Breath of the Wild just a few months before it dropped, and by the time Tears of the Kingdom came out, I was just kind of burnt out. It was a great game, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't have it in me to see it through to the end. I don't know. Another issue was the performance. 30 frames per second with frequent dips kind of sucked. It wasn't unplayable by any means, but you could definitely feel it. Seeing this game now running at a crisp 4K at 60 frames per second feels just unreal. The art style makes it look even better at that resolution. And Nintendo showed off side-by-side comparisons with way faster load times and even higher details on textures and assets. It's actually a solid upgrade. But that's not all. They also showed off the new Nintendo Switch app that links with the game. You can track Korok seeds in real time using GPS on your phone. And it's like an actual navigation system, which is just, what the heck? And in Tears of the Kingdom, they added a new feature that lets you share your builds and contraptions via QR codes. I don't totally understand why it had to be on its own app instead of baked into the game, but hey, Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. One thing I do love though is that if you already have the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, you don't have to pay extra for the upgraded Switch 2 editions, which is a whole other conversation on its own. But for now, I'm just happy with it. I'm not gonna complain. And you better believe I'm gonna finally beat Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm even more excited about this game than Tears of the Kingdom, and that's Street Fighter 6. Even though I already have it on PS5 and it looks beautiful on that console, they did a lot to this game to actually make me want to get it again for Switch 2. First of all, look at this. 3 Amiibo. Scrumptious Amiibo. I can't believe these things are real official Amiibo and that these are the first new ones we've seen in a long time. And they're not even from Nintendo, they're from Capcom. What the heck? And you know what? Out of the 3, I'm surprised we didn't get a new absolutely shredded Ryu. That would have been epic. But I mean, also we technically did because they also showed off Amiibo cards. Yes, they're releasing 24 Amiibo cards for this game. Oh, my wallet is so cooked. I can finally show it off to everyone. I have an entire binder of Amiibo cards. And now I get to put 24 more in there. I just ruined my binder. Anyways, my point is, I barely touched them. And I just remembered this isn't even the newest Amiibo. We also have the new Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo coming out. That's crazy. Future Russ here. We just found out prices for these Amiibo, and they already announced the Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo to be $20 each, and the Street Fighter ones to be $30 each, which is already outrageous. Then they just announced that all of the Amiibo would go up an additional $10, and I'm appalled. I don't know what this is. Turns out these Street Fighter Amiibo are actually $40 each. This should be a crime. The standard has been like $16.99 for the longest time. Accessories were just announced that they would go up in price, but it was a little more justifiable because those were already expensive. These, they're bringing the price up even more. Based on how expensive they already are, this just doesn't make sense. This is too expensive for Amiibo, although I've already collected them all, so I can't stop now. Thank you, Nintendo. All right, back to the video. Anyways, these Street Fighter Amiibos, they're cool. I'm gonna get them. Apparently you can save your moveset or some character customizations on an Amiibo to bring it to your friend's house. They do something quirky like that. Nobody's gonna use it, but hey, the figures look cool. There are a few other Switch 2 quirks here as well though. First off, the graphics look very good, like noticeably better than the PS4 version, which is awesome. I love to see it. Wow, this is more powerful than a 13-year-old console. I hope so. They might not be PS5 level, but hey, it's running good. And then for some reason, they brought back this feature from the Switch version of Street Fighter 2, where you can play the entire game with motion controls. They showed this off during the Trios Live event, and it looks frustrating. I don't know who would seriously want to play this way. Feels like something they added just to say they added it, but okay, I guess it's there, so thank you. Regardless, I'm actually pumped to play this version because I think a lot of people might actually finally play it with me. I had no one to play it with me on the PS5. I need some friends. Next game is Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. That's right, the whole package is here, baby. This is one of those games that I've heard about so much, especially back before it even launched, and it was insanely hyped, in development for 10 years or something, and had Keanu Reeves in it. So what could go wrong? Well, when it dropped, everything kind of fell apart. It got pulled from store shelves on last-gen consoles because it was just so broken. But since then, it's been patched a ton, and it even had a big DLC expansion. And I've seen it on sale millions of times, on PlayStation and Steam, and I've come this close to buying it. But I just never did because I didn't have time for it. But with the Switch 2 port, I finally have a reason to play it, and it seems like a genuinely interesting version. First of all, it looks great, even when compared to current-gen consoles, and it's definitely way better than the last-gen consoles. In fact, this version includes the Phantom Liberty DLC, which is apparently so graphically advanced, it can't even run on PS4 and Xbox One. It just doesn't work. So the fact that it's running on Switch at all is kind of nuts, and based on what we've seen, it runs around 30 to 40 frames per second in performance mode, and roughly 30 frames per second in graphics mode, with better lighting and resolution. I've seen a lot of people say that it can chug during intense moments, so we'll have to see if they actually can figure out and stable it out. But overall, I'm really excited to finally play it on a Nintendo console of all things. And you know what? I'll probably do a full review of my experience, so stay tuned, and hey, subscribe. Now, speaking of games I've wanted to try for a long time, I gotta bring up Split Fiction. I almost bought this on PS5 at at launch, since my brother and I loved the dev team's previous game, It Takes Two. But I never did because I was waiting for a sale, okay? That's what I did. Because It Takes Two went on sale like a month after it released. But Split Fiction still hasn't. And, well, I'm kind of glad because I definitely want to play this on Switch 2 instead. Now, yes, people have done graphics comparisons between this version and the PS5 one. It's not as pretty, but it's still nothing to scoff at. It looks way better than the Switch port of It Takes Two, which was a muddy mess. And since Split Fiction has to be played in co-op, it's kind of perfect for the Switch too. Like, just being able to play the console anywhere and instantly play with someone, it's just what the console is built for, you know what I mean? And as much as I harp on the C button and the whole game chat function, this might be one of those games that actually makes great use of it. I'm actually really excited to try this out on Switch 2 for the first time. So yeah, Switch 2 this is just too perfect. Now, obviously, we gotta talk about the big game, Mario Kart World. And yes, this game is very appealing to most people. It's part of Nintendo's most popular series ever, and it looks awesome. However, we can't talk about this without addressing a couple red flags. Mainly, the price. It's insane. For a kart racing game that costs this much money, I think it's quite literally impossible to justify. And unfortunately, when Nintendo gave us the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct, it didn't help at all. It didn't justify the price, it just doubled down on info we already knew or things that were completely expected, like time trial races or the fact that yes, Mario is in this game. Who could have seen this coming? That being said, this is still just a big open world Mario Kart game, and honestly, that's completely fine. In fact, it's fantastic. So let's just for a second, not talk about the price. Let's just pretend it doesn't exist. I know it does, but let's just pretend it doesn't, okay? Can we do that? Because I'm really excited about this game. I just want to unlock all the characters, all the costumes, learn the courses, destroy my friends online, and cruise around in an open world Mario Kart game. And you better believe I'm gonna obliterate the competition as Parabitty Bud. Did you know that was this thing's name? I had no idea. But hey, main alert. So yes, while the whole unreasonable price increase and the possible lack of a more fleshed out battle mode is looming over the community, this is still the most exciting and anticipated game yet, and it's probably what I'm most hyped for on launch day. That is, except for one game, which I made a whole video on and you should check out, Fortnite. And you can check out that video right here to see if I'm actually sane. And hey, let's fill up this list of names. If you want to support me in everything I'm doing here, I really appreciate it. Don't you want to be like Mark Jameson? Alright, see you in the next one.